Hi, this is Joe with PrepAgent. I'm here with my friend Ray. Hi, Ray.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good. So today we're not really going over everything specific. We're just going to chat about a few concepts that you want to talk about as your real estate exam's coming up. You studied pretty well. Sounds like you're more or less ready. So this is just a basic overview of some things. I kind of look at it as just a little warm-up lap before you swim your race. What do you think of that?
Right,
I don't know if you're a swimmer. I'm
right.
not a swimmer. I just saw something with Michael Phelps, so it's in my head.
I'm not that good of a swimmer.
Me neither, but you see that guy and he's really good.
Right.
Okay, so here we go. So let's just start from the top
Okay.
because
Okay.
one thing we try and tell people is you only really understand it if you can explain it basically in the time you're in an elevator. A few words, 5, 6 words, that's it. I try and use keywords to get the concepts across, but if you find yourself rambling about a concept, you really don't know it that well.
Right.
So let's start from the top here. Bundle of rights. What do you think of that one?
The rights that come with ownership,
Good. What are some of those rights?
the right of quiet enjoyment, possession, um, but I can't say them all.
Right. So you got the right to use, possess, to sell, to encumber, do whatever you want with it. And you have the right to enjoy
To
it.
will.
Yes, all those kinds of rights. Okay.
Right.
I look at it, I have a video on this you guys can see. It has the guy holding the straws, and I say, here are your rights. He has a handful of straws. When you lose a right, you lose one of the straws. So you can look at
Right.
that video. What's real property?
Real property is immovable.
Good,
It is uh like a house. You
good,
can't move a house.
good. Why do you, what are you getting licensed to do?
I'm getting licensed to sell real property.
What's it actually called?
I mean, yeah,
Your license is not called a
real
real
estate.
property license, real estate license. Why is it called a real
To
estate license?
well, to sell land.
Good. So what does that word mean, real estate? Why don't they say you have a house selling license or just like a land sales license? Why is it called real estate?
Because I want to say, because you wouldn't say because it's real land. Like I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not
you do
sure.
know.
It's immovable.
Okay, so the
Um,
real part has to do with immovable. Okay? The estate
okay.
part has to do with duration of ownership. When you have an estate, it
Okay.
has to do with duration of ownership. So real estate has to do with owning certain things for a duration of ownership that's immovable. Okay? So the
All
reason they
right.
don't say land is it's not just land, it's also houses. And they don't say houses because sometimes it isn't houses, sometimes it's land, etc., etc. So the term real
Right.
estate kind of encompasses a larger whole.
Alrighty.
And those two words come up on your exam, so you want to know them. Okay,
Exactly.
personal property is what?
Movable. Um, it is. It could be the personal property of the tenant or the owner of the house.
Good. Chattel real?
Um, that's still personal property.
Good.
Chattel.
Because it moves.
Right. It's movable.
Right. Chattel, cattle, cows, cows move. Personal property. Okay. Fixture?
A fixture is real property. Something that was fixed to real property and became real property.
How?
Um, either through, I want to say, it's like a acronym.
There is an acronym. It's
Is
you
it
hear this?
Maria?
Yes, yes. There you go.
Um,
Boom.
so it is method of attachment, agreement, relationship, intention, and adaptable, I
Yeah.
think.
Perfect.
I'm right?
Yeah, you're
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
adaptability.
so
Yeah.
adaptability.
Same thing. Perfect. Adaptability. Okay. And we said this is real property.
Yes, real property.
What's a trade fixture?
A trade fixture is personal property. It is something that is basically an object that you use for your trade, your business, or whatever, if you're working out of your home or something like that.
Why is it personal property?
It's personal property because um, even though it's probably affixed, like it could be real property, uh, the intention of it could be that is you're just using it for your business or using it for something else. It could be removed.
Right. So even if it's attached to the ground, like a dentist chair, does
Right.
that chair go with a dentist?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's personal property. Another way to think of this is personal property goes with the person.
Right.
Real property goes with the real estate. Because sometimes it's not always as clear as immovable, movable. We use that as a way to remember, and that's a general rule. But there are certain things that are not movable that are personal property, such as this trade fixture.
Right.
Okay, what's this? Riparian rights.
Oh my gosh, I have not went over this in so long. Riparian rights is for like rivers or
Good.
streams.
Perfect. Good.
And,
Done. Yeah,
and
don't overthink it.
tour rights are for like oceans and lakes, uh, stuff like that.
Yeah, good. Lakes is for littoral lake, riparian river, littoral lake. Lakes are more for water that's still. Obviously, I don't mean literally still. But you get my idea.
Okay.
It doesn't have a set direction. Like when you go
Right.
to the ocean, it abuts at the beach. It hits the beach. Lakes are
Right.
kind of,
Oh well, yeah, it moves. Okay.
yeah. Okay. What's an appurtenance?
An appurtenance is like appurtenance. I really forgot. I forgot.
Okay. Well, what if I use this word? An easement appurtenant.
Oh, okay. Well, an easement appurtenant is like when it's involving, the easement is involving two properties.
Right. So the appurtenant easement. So basically, it goes with the land.
Okay, appurtenant. It
That's why I
goes
said
with
it's
the land.
almost like opposite of being encumbered because it doesn't hurt the property, it actually goes with the property.
Okay. Yeah, I completely forgot that and I need to know that.
Yeah. Okay. Freehold estate.
A freehold estate is ownership, complete ownership.
Okay. Well, that's estate.
Indefinite in duration.
Exactly. Indefinite duration. Okay. Now you said that fee simple estate. What's that?
Is absolute ownership.
Okay. Now, is anything truly absolute?
No, not really.
Why?
Because it, somebody could come out of the blue and try to sue you because they've been there. I mean, anything could happen. I just don't think anything is absolute.
Well, look at this.
Probably not the same reason that you're looking. Oh.
So what's there
Okay.
always?
Taxes.
Yes. Are taxes an encumbrance?
Right. Yes.
So therefore,
Because it could be a lien on your property.
exactly. So therefore, you don't have absolute ownership.
Right.
Okay. What's fee simple defeasible?
Okay, now fee simple defeasible I kind of forgot, but I'll give it a try.
What does the word defeasible mean, or the word defeated?
Oh, well, fee simple defeasible, is it basically when you pay off the debt, the house is yours? Like,
No. You're going way
no,
off.
so I'm all off.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
a condition where you can lose the property.
Oh, so upon default of the condition, whatever the condition
Yes, the
is.
condition can be like no alcohol is allowed to be used on this property. That's an example.
Okay.
And if you
So
do that,
upon condition, basically.
yeah, you would lose the property. The estate could be defeated. It's something called a condition subsequent.
Okay. I just
Okay,
have forgot. I haven't been going over that.
it's okay. Okay, so it would be a condition subsequent. For example, it would be like, do not sell alcohol on the property.
Right.
Okay, what's a life estate?
A life estate is an estate based off of someone's lifetime.
Good. What's a less than freehold estate?
A less than freehold estate is basically not for an indefinite period of time. It's for a limited amount of time.
What's a more simple way to say a less than freehold estate?
Something like periodic tenancy.
Say less than freehold estate really fast.
less
Less, less,
less than
less, lease,
lease
lease. Oh, okay.
designated period of time. Lease. Okay, yeah.
You see what I had you say real fast right when you said it? It kind of sounded like lease right from the beginning.
Right, because I couldn't even get through.
Right. So we're talking about just rentals, more or less. Okay.
Okay.
You don't have full ownership. You don't have a freehold estate. You have a less than freehold estate. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you know your history, your English history?
Um, I haven't been in school for a minute, but we can give it a try.
Okay. So let me give you the gist of it. So if you know your English history, when people own land, they call them lords, right? The whole thing where it's like
Mhm.
Lord Henry of Worcestershire or something like that. If you ever seen
Yes.
Braveheart, they do all that, all the King Disney movies and whatnot, right?
Right.
They say like Lord Arthur of Fingorston or whatever. Okay, so they have this lord that goes out. Basically, back then, money wasn't worth that much. Land was worth everything, and they had their estate in land. Okay, they could
Mhm.
do whatever they wanted. They had a freehold. People, the poor, lived on that land, but they didn't own it. Right? The
Right.
poor basically managed the land, did all that. So they had a less than freehold. Okay? So
Right.
what do you think they called the lords of the land?
Um.
Landlords.
Duh.
Okay?
Landlords.
Which brings us to where
Okay.
we are today. So I give
Right.
you that quick little history lesson because puts into context. If you know the history of things, it actually makes more sense. And obviously, we didn't go
Right.
into detail, but think logically. Oh, real estate law is based on English common law. They have all those lords and things of that nature. There, the lords are rich because they have land. They're landlords. They have a freehold. They do whatever they want with the land. The poor
Right.
live there who manage the land are basically in debt to the landlord, if you know your history, to their entire lives. It wasn't like what we have now where you finish and you pay it off. I don't remember the details, but they had some horrible deal like most things in medieval times. But they had a
Right.
less than freehold estate. Okay? And they were in debt to the landlord. Okay? Which brings us to where we
Mhm.
are today. Okay, does that make
Right.
sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now we have this periodic tenancy. What does that mean?
Okay. Periodic tenancy is basically for a month to month, week to week kind of thing.
Perfect. Good. Period to period, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's in a state for years?
It's for okay, a definite beginning and a definite ending.
Good.
So it doesn't need any notice because you already know when you have to leave.
Right. Kind of like the example I use is a summer rental.
Right.
If you rent it in May and you know you're leaving in September, you don't need to give notice. You tell them when you're leaving the moment you enter.
Right.
Okay, good. What's in a state of sufferance?
Basically somebody's at your a house and they're not paying anymore, and they just won't leave.
Right. The more slang vernacular would be what? A deadbeat.
A deadbeat tenant.
Yeah, somebody who's just sitting there and doesn't pay at all.
Right.
Okay? We'll just say the landlord is suffering. There you go. Okay, so we have a lease here. What's a percentage lease?
A percentage lease is where you are basically giving a percentage of your business. The percentage of the money that you make from your business, you're paying that with your rent as well.
Okay, yeah. So the fancy way to say it's a percentage of the gross receipts.
Okay.
Okay? Net lease?
And a net lease, I want to say, is just a regular lease where
Oh,
you're just. Okay, no. A net lease is where you're paying everything.
good.
Maintenance. Once you said that, I knew it was not. I was mixing up gross lease and net lease. But net lease is where you're paying everything, like the maintenance, gas bill, light bill, everything.
Well,
Like,
here's the everything. Ready? Taxes,
uh-huh.
insurance,
Oh, okay, okay.
maintenance. Very often you may hear this term, triple net lease.
Right. Oh, so that would be a good way to remember it because you got taxes, insurance, and maintenance.
Yeah, and very often you'll hear, you may even see it on your exam, triple net lease, and that's what they're referring to.
Right.
Okay? What's a gross lease?
A gross lease is, I want to say, regular lease,
Yes, that's a
where,
little more normal,
okay,
where you pay a set amount.
right, a set amount each month.
Yeah, that's
Um,
more normal with net lease is more typical for business, for commercial leases. Gross lease is a little more typical for what you're going to see in your average residential lease. You pay a gross lease right now.
okay.
Because you rent right now, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and you pay a set amount every month, correct?
correct.
Yeah, so you pay a gross lease. Mhm. Okay, what's title?
Title is proof of ownership.
Good. Okay, ownership. And what's a cloud on title?
A cloud on title is basically like a defect with the house.
What's an example of one?
A cloud on title would be something like um, hmm, a lien.
That is one too, but here's the example I was getting at. Um, are you married?
No.
Okay, so you're single now, and you purchase property under your name right now. You get
Hmm.
married, okay, and then you have a new last name. You go to sell your property, but now the person selling it has a different name than the person on
Uh,
title.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect
So when a
sense.
single woman gets married, that could create a cloud on title because you change your name, but on title it still has that other name.
Right.
Okay, quiet title action will remove the cloud. What does it mean to alienate something?
Alienate means the transfer of,
Good,
so the transfer of title.
good. It's the opposite of acquire.
To convey.
Good, perfect. Great word. Good job. Severalty,
Sole ownership.
concurrent estate.
Um, it's multiple people owning something, so
Good. So
more than
then,
one person.
right. So you have these different types of concurrent estates.
Right.
What are they? So you got this joint tenancy. What's this one all about?
Joint tenancy is basically PIT, PITT, possession, interest. time, and I really forgot. Hold on.
Okay, so you did
Possession, interest, time, and no. Possession, and is it insurance or
yeah,
interest?
you're doing great. Interest,
It's interest. Okay. Time and title.
good, good. I put to tip, you put pit. I don't care if it's the tip, pit, tizibibba, whatever. As long as you remember what it is,
Right.
do whatever you want to do. But as long as you remember those things, which you did, and that's great. Possession, interest, time, title, interest, possession, whatever it is. Okay.
Right.
There's something else that makes it unique that you actually mentioned.
Right of survivorship.
Here you go. Good. Good. Tenancy in common.
Tenancy in common is basically just like joint tenancy, except it doesn't have right of survivorship, and they all have like separate titles, like separate
They have one
deeds.
unity. So joint tenancy has four of those unities. There's one for
Right.
tenancy in common.
Possession.
Good. Okay, what's an encumbrance?
An encumbrance is basically something that is defecting title.
Okay, so we'll call it limits title. How about that?
Right.
So an easement.
An easement is a right of way, basically, like a right on another's land, Yeah,
I like that.
right of
Right of way is good.
right of way.
Okay, easement by prescription.
Easement by prescription is basically when you hostily take someone's. You're basically hostily using someone's land,
What do you mean? Like you go and
blatantly.
you beat them up? Like what do you mean?
No. You're basically using their land openly every day for, I want to say, like 7 years. Like you're just continuously using their land and they don't say anything. So you basically took that easement by prescription.
Right. So open notorious possession for a period of time. Okay.
Right.
You said 7 years. I want to tell everybody who's listening that the years could change depending on your state. But what you're saying that is true is this concept of easement prescription. This does not change depending what state you're in. Is the
Right.
definition of it, which is open notorious possession for a period of time. Okay.
Right.
All right. The pertinent easement.
An easement concerning two pieces of land.
Good. It runs with the land. Meaning what? When you sell it, the easement goes with it.
Right.
Easement and gross. What's that all about?
Easement and gross. I actually forgot.
Okay. What's a dominant and servient tenement?
Oh, okay. A dominant uh tenant is basically the one who has the right of the easement to use it. And the servient tenement is basically the one where the property is, that's the property that's being, held hostage as far as with the
How about an
easement.
easier way to say this? The servient tenement is serving the purpose of the dominant.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
Easement
better.
and
I
gross.
gotta get better with how I explain things because I know it in my head, but it's just like explaining it is kind of
And sometimes it's easier than you think. Like all I did just there is use the words in the kind of the word. I just kind of reused the
right,
words. So my point is the answers are sometimes right there. Servient, they're serving the purposes of the dominant.
right.
Okay, so easement and gross means there is no dominant tenement.
Okay.
So what kind of easement would there be no dominant tenement?
Mm, I'm not sure. Oh, okay.
Okay, does the
Okay.
utility company have to cross your property?
Yes.
Are they going to another property? No.
Probably.
No, they're not.
They're not. Oh, okay.
No, they're just putting up utilities. They're not living there. They're not going somewhere else. So they have an easement in gross.
Okay.
Okay. Eminent domain. What's that all about?
Eminent domain is when the government takes your property
Okay, good. Why?
through condemnation
Why are they taking your
for
property?
for public use, for the good of the public.
Okay, good. There's process of condemnation, as you just said. What's inverse
Yeah, the process.
condemnation?
I don't know. I've never
What's
heard of
condemnation?
inverse condom. Oh well, when the government pays you.
Okay, so what's inverse condemnation? It's basically you suing the government. You're getting money from the government.
Oh, okay.
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 Means the government should give you money, right? That's
Right.
condemnation.
Right. Just compensation.
Right. So we'll put that. If they don't give that to you, you file for inverse condemnation.
Oh, okay.
All right. So you may not have heard of it before, but it's not that tricky.
Right. It's simple. Once I know what it is.
Yeah. Police power.
Police power is basically like they enforce like certain things, like as far as building codes, zoning, um,
Okay.
and they're still just for the public good as well.
Yeah. Public health, safety, and morals of the society. General welfare, they say. Okay.
Right.
What's escheat?
Um, Basically when the government takes your property,
Okay.
um, they take the property.
Why?
If okay, well if someone dies intestate, then they will take the property.
What does that mean?
Intestate means that the person died with no will, um, to will it to the heirs.
Good. Can I ask you something?
Yes.
What are the four government powers?
Okay, I know the acronym is PEAT. Uh, so it is, don't tell me. Taxes.
That's one.
I know that's one. Um, what is the P? Can you give me like a hint? Not an obvious hint though. Oh, police power, taxes, SG, police power, SG, taxes, and eminent domain.
Good. Okay. What's zoning?
Zoning is basically like, okay, where you're not gonna have a gas station in the neighborhood. You're gonna have it like you're gonna have the houses with the houses, um, basically having stuff in the right place.
Good. So what's
You
a
know what I'm saying?
variance
Like you said, what's a variance? Well, when someone wants to do something different from the regular zoning and they get a variance, they get
then? Good.
permission.
No, that's right. It's an exception to the rule. It's
Okay.
basically an exception to the rule that does not affect anybody else.
Okay.
Okay? So you get the exception, but one thing you have to prove is that that exception will not bother anybody else.
Right.
Okay? What's down zoning?
Down zoning is basically like making something smaller so it can because it was too much going on, like in an apartment complex, for example. They may make it no
Much simpler.
much simpler. Commercial to residential. Okay.
Good.
So basically, just making it smaller.
Yeah, I mean, it's one way to look at it. There's some, like a mansion is bigger than a gas station, though.
Right.
So generally speaking, you're correct. Commercial buildings are generally bigger than houses. But as you know, there's some tiny businesses and there's some big houses.
Right.
So, but as a general rule, for memory's sake, I'm fine with that. Saying commercial or residential, going from big building to small building is a way to remember. Okay. Grandfather clause.
Meaning, basically, it was grandfathered in if something was built a long time ago, and they don't want to change it, then it could be grandfathered into the new building codes.
Good. So basically, if you had that right before the new zoning changes were put in, you'd be
Okay.
grandfathered in.
Right.
Okay. Encroachment. What's that?
An encroachment is basically like something that's trespassing on another's land, like a fence
Good.
or a tree.
Good. Good. It's basically trespass.
Right.
I don't know if I spelled that right, but whatever, right?
It's okay.
Okay. Liens. What's that?
A lien is an encumbrance. It is something against your property that is defecting title.
More specific.
A lien like a tax lien or a special assessment lien.
Liens have to do with money.
Money.
Okay.
Liens have to do with money. You owing money.
Good.
So somebody put a lien against your house.
What's a general lien?
A general lien is something that is, it's a lien that's going to take everything, personal and real property.
Good. Specific lien?
Like a tax lien.
Why is it a specific lien? You're right, tax is a specific lien, but why? Well, actually, it depends what kind of tax it is. Before I say that, what makes it a specific lien?
You said what makes it a specific what? Because it's only on that property.
Good. It's on one thing specifically.
Yes. It's not like on all your property. It's just that one property.
What's a voluntary lien?
A voluntary lien is like where a mortgage.
Excellent. Good.
Because you are.
Yes.
Huh?
No, continue.
It's a voluntary lien because you are you're basically letting the bank put a lien on your house because that is going to be collateral if you default.
Would you say you're voluntarily owing money?
Yeah, because you know that you're going to have to pay them back, and you're using this as collateral.
Right, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, liens are not always bad. You're owing money, not for nothing, because they're giving you money so you can afford to live in a home. So it's not such a bad thing. Without that, you can't get a home. So it's not always a bad thing.
Right.
Involuntary lien is a bad thing.
Right. So like a mechanic's lien.
Good.
Involuntary. You want me to go to a mechanic's lien or?
Sure. What's a mechanic's lien?
A mechanic's lien is like if somebody does some work on your house and you don't pay them.
Good. What's a judgment?
So like a construction worker or something.
Good. Excellent. What's a judgment lien?
A judgment lien is when the court puts a lien on your house.
Good. Judgment liens are bad. And are you ready for this?
Yes.
They are general involuntary liens.
Okay.
Why is that bad? A general involuntary lien.
Because first off, it's involuntary, and it's gonna take everything.
Right, it goes after everything. So judgment lien is basically when you go to court and the judge rules you owe money, you got to pay, and it's a whole nasty process.
Right.
Yeah, let's move down here a little bit. Intestate, you mentioned that before. What was that all about?
Intestate is when somebody dies without a will.
Okay, good. Therefore, testate is what?
Dying with a will.
Good. What's a deed?
A deed is transfer of ownership. Well, no. A deed is like you transfer deed before you transfer title. So it's like I don't know. I know, but I don't know. Evidence of transfer. Okay.
What's title?
Ownership.
Yes, exactly. Did you go shopping today?
That's like last month.
What'd you buy last month?
Like clothes and shoes.
Okay, so you bought a pair of shoes, right? After you walked out, you got those shoes. What did they give you when you bought them?
A receipt.
Good. Does that receipt mean that you own the shoes?
No, that's proof that I paid for the shoes.
The receipt is your deed.
Yeah.
Title would be
Okay,
when
that's
you
a good
write your
example.
name on your shoes.
All right.
Okay, and say, I own this, mine. It's a very simplistic example. Is it exactly correct? No, but it gets the concept across. It kind of simplifies everything a little bit.
For me to remember.
Right. It's evidence of that transfer.
Really quick, I did want to go over injunctions, accretion, and avulsion, because that was on my exam last time, and I did not know what that was.
Okay, so let's do that. What's an injunction?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Very simple for you.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's there to
stop the action
that's going on. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Accretion is what?
I don't know. I don't know what accretion or avulsion is. Accretion is addition of land.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So avulsion's like a dam breaking.
Okay.
All right. So one's removal of land, one's the addition of land.
Okay.
All right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Why would somebody use a quitclaim deed?
Somebody would use a quitclaim deed to basically hurry up and sell the house.
You don't even need to sell it, really.
And it's basically like they don't want anything to do with it. They just want to get rid of it.
Right. So it's immediate transfer. Why would somebody want to get rid of their house? Are there examples? Because there are examples where it's completely logical to do that.
Because they want to hurry up and get a new one, or they want to
get rid of money. If you just want to transfer title, money. When do people transfer title? For no money whatsoever. What about
wait? Can you ask me that
one? When would somebody want to transfer title and not want money at all?
Oh, when they want to will it.
Well, not even. Just if I'm a father to a son, I just want to give it to him. I can just quitclaim it over to him. Okay. Here's the key part of it. Now there may be money involved, may not be. That's just a common example. Like one family member wants to give it to another. The reason I use the example of a family member because there needs to be a lot of trust involved.
Right.
Because what they say is there's no implied warranties. Meaning you don't know if there's flaws with it. There could be liens, there could be clouds on titles. So you only do it between two people who trust each other.
Exactly.
Okay? Like a father to a son. Okay. What's a chain of title?
Chain of title is basically it is showing the changes of ownership.
Okay. Chain of title. Abstract.
A summary of the title.
What's steering?
Steering is when you're trying to steer a certain kind of person around other, whatever you feel is the best fit.
Buyers or sellers?
Sellers.
Mm.
Well, because no, buyers. I mean, I'm sorry, buyers because they're buying and you
Remember, you're
steer them in whatever
steering the
direction.
car. You're steering the car.
Right.
You're showing them houses. An example I use, they say, "Oh, you're one of those people. You probably want to live over there with your people because that's where you should be, right?" That would be steering.
Right.
What would that violate?
That would violate. We did just go over this. Okay. Steering would violate the Federal Fair Housing.
Good.
Oh, okay, I'm right. Okay, I'm right. Because I'm like, it can't. Sherman Antitrust Act is with price fixing.
Yeah, that's the Sherman Antitrust Act. That's a different deal. Okay. So what's blockbusting, panic selling, and panic peddling?
Basically trying to hurry up and get somebody to sell
Sell. Good.
so that
Sellers.
sellers.
And using discrimination, right?
Right.
That's when you say, "Hey, Ray, you better sell your house." You know why? Those people are moving to town, and you don't want to live by them, do you? Okay?
Right.
That would be violation of the Fair Housing Act as well.
Right.
Okay? What are the essentials of a valid contract?
Competent parties, mutual agreement, legal purpose, and capable parties, mutual consent.
You're missing the most obvious one.
I know. Consideration.
There you go. Yeah, the most obvious one. I want money.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, blah, blah, blah. I don't care if it's capable, so we agree, fine. Lawful, fine. But money, don't mess with that one, right?
Right.
Okay. Essential of a valid contract. Capable parties, mutual consent, lawful, object consideration. Okay?
Mhm.
Can I ask you something else?
Mhm.
Does it always have to be in writing?
No.
Excellent. Good. A lot of people get that one wrong. Why does it not always have to be in writing? What's an example of a real estate contract that does not have to be in writing?
A lease under a year.
Wow. Good stuff. Yeah. Great. Let's put that here. And the key thing people got to remember is the word always. I sometimes
That's
go over
one of
this.
the definite terms.
Yeah, words like always, never. I prefer words like sometimes, usually, okay? Because
Right.
there's usually an exception to every rule, such as this one. Most real estate contracts need to be in writing, but a lease under 1 year does not have to be in writing.
Right. But it's good to always have it in writing.
Of course, but don't get general practice confused with law.
Right.
You're talking good business practice. That's not
Right.
the same as legal law. Okay. So we just went over the essential of a valid contract. What's avoidable contract?
Avoidable contract is something that could be void whether the buyer wants it to be or not. Like for the example that you used in one of your webinars, if you told them that the house was going to be blue and they wanted a blue house, but they see that it's a greenhouse and they end up liking the greenhouse, so they decide to buy it anyway.
Good. Really simple example. People get into these complicated things. Sometimes it's that simple. I want blue. I show up and it's green. They say, okay, is it void? No, because you may be like, I wanted blue, but this green's pretty sweet. I'm into it. I kind of like it. So you go ahead and get the greenhouse. Okay? All right, so the option to rescind. Okay, now we don't have that much more time left, so I wanted to ask you if there's anything specific you wanted to go over, or we could just keep going through for, a little bit longer.
We could definitely go over the listings
Okay,
and then the escrow and the stuff like the rest of that stuff.
all right, so let's do the listings. Okay. What's a bilateral contract?
Where both parties are performing.
Unilateral?
One promise, one party is performing.
Good. What does statute of frauds have to do with?
Basically, it is where you have a limited time to.
No.
Wait. Oh yeah, writing. I'm sorry. I'm
Statute of
writing.
limitations
Right.
have to do with time.
I'm looking at statute of limitations. That's why.
Right. Okay, novation. What's that?
Basically new, like a new contract.
Just remember that. Nova's Latin for new.
Right.
Okay. What's a listing?
A listing is wow, something so simple is stopping me up. A listing is where you're listing a home. That's not as
Bilateral. Okay. A listing's a bilateral employment contract.
okay.
All right. What are you employed to do?
Find a ready, willing, and able buyer.
Good. Who is you?
I am the real estate agent,
Nope.
but no, I meant the broker
Good. Why are we clarifying that?
because the real estate agent doesn't have any direct deals. It's only the broker. Only the broker can get compensated.
Right. In real life, people get confused because in real life, you're working with a real estate agent. But on
Right.
legal paper and the way the money flows, it flows through the broker because the broker is legally
Right.
responsible. Okay?
Right.
All right. Exclusive listing is what?
An exclusive listing is basically where um, the buyer the seller has the right to find the buyer, or the broker does.
Okay. So basically,
So,
you get paid no matter what. Okay. So if you're a
I
broker,
thought,
yes, what'd you think?
oh, never mind.
Basically, if I hire you for an exclusive listing, and if that house sells, you're getting paid as long as it's within the designated agreed upon time frame.
Right. But you're going to get paid no matter what, even if the seller does find a buyer.
Right. And this is what you sign because you don't want to be competing with the seller for business.
Right.
I mean, that creates a toxic relationship.
Right, because you're working against each other.
Right. Which is an exclusive agency listing where the seller finds a buyer, you get nothing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did just make a little mistake here. Let me correct. This should actually go here. So
That's what I was looking at, like, well,
right. So basically, exclusive agency listing and exclusive author rights to sell listings are different types of exclusive listings. Because in both of them, there's only one broker.
right.
However, in exclusive agency, seller finds a buyer, broker gets nothing. Exclusive authorization or right to sell, the broker gets paid no matter what. But both of them are exclusive to one broker.
Right, so exclusive listing is just saying one broker.
Right. I mean, just think about what does the word exclusive mean, whether it's in business or in romance. You're exclusive to one person.
Right.
Okay. What's a net listing?
A net listing is, I don't know.
Net listing is when you get paid based upon an amount above a designated price.
You get paid based upon the
amount above.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that's illegal.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if you bring in 500 grand, but the seller bids at 450, you get 50 grand. Problem is, if you bring in a buyer for 450 grand, you get nothing.
Right.
There's an inherent conflict of interest there. Some states
Right.
allow it, but it's frowned upon. Most states say it's illegal for that reason, because then it creates an inherent conflict of interest with your fiduciary duty. Because the
Right.
seller just wants a 450, but then if you follow your fiduciary duty and bring the offer 450, you get nothing, which sucks for you. So now you just did all this for nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's basically it there. Do you have any more questions you want to ask me before we wrap up? We
Um.
went over a good amount of stuff just now.
Yeah, we did. I'm trying to go up and down on the screen and I can't.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
I
we can
just
do
want
that
to do
also. Yes.
the what's the tenant improvement allowance?
Tenant improvement allowance is when somebody leases a property and they give the tenant money to make changes. So tenant improvement allowance is basically if you rent the property for me and you're like, Joe, I want you to fix this, fix this. I just say, you know what? I don't feel like fixing anything. Here's some money. Do what you want.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Um, instead of that, and I may say, you know what? You can make the walls purple or the floors green. Do what you want. Rock out. You see it a lot more with commercial because it's specific to that person's industry.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, I think I'm pretty cool on everything else.
So then, I think we're good, right? You could always email me.
Right.
All right. So with that
No
being
problem.
said, then this is Joe from PrepAgent.com signing off. As usual, if you guys have comments you want to leave, if you disagree with something I said, or if you want me to add some information to it, please write in the comments below. I know I'm not perfect. I'm flawed, but I do my best. But I'm definitely open to feedback. I'm not so proud where I'm not welcoming feedback of things I can explain a little better or things I could correct. And with that being said, Ray, good luck on your exam.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Joe.
All right, so I'll be waiting to hear your results, okay?
Alrighty.
All right, Joe from Prep Agent. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you hung up yet.